and I actually wrote myself a check, and this is for real, this is not a joke, this is for real. I wrote myself a check for $10 million per picture.
This is
by Thanksgiving 1995.
Wow, look at that. This is the actual...
Yeah. Don't wreck it.
No, I don't want it. This is certainly... Like, there you go. That's the actual check?
That's the actual check I wrote myself 4 years ago, and that's...
What was it about that story that made it so compelling for you to want to be, not only did you want to play the role, but you became the role during the, as oft-told story of you?
I'm fascinated by what creates characters. You know, what defines people, what creates them, what puts them together. Everybody's Frankenstein, and they just like, as life goes on, you either lose pieces of yourself, gain other pieces, and it just, that's the fascinating thing about acting. It's like somebody like Andy Kaufman, what is it? And I stood by his gravesite, you know, with his sister, and she said one thing to me that cleared it all up, and that was that Andy was never part of the club, so he created his own club that no one else could be a part of.
Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura. Coming out of that, of those three films, which grossed all that money, somebody, your agent, your lawyer says, if you look at how much these films did, you are looking at the first $20 million man. I guess that's something like that happened, right?
Sure.
What was that for you? The series of very, must have made close to $1 billion of films.
These scripts find me, you know, they really do at certain times of my life. And you know, for me, that was about, you know, and a lot of the characters I've done so far have been about duality, about what you show the world and what you really are.
As a result of growing up poor, now that you have a lot of money, now that you're a superstar, and you make $20 million a film.
Yeah.
Is this still pressure for you, or you just don't care anymore?
You know, you always want to do well, you know, I mean, you want to stay in the business, you know, I mean, but, you know, I'm constantly just coming up with ideas and throwing them in, so
if you hire Jim Carrey for a movie, you're paying for a guy who can ad lib, so
I'm
you
a writer, so, you know,
let you do your thing.
Yeah, honestly, I wake up every day and I open my eyes and I go, I'm doing this amazing thing for a living.
It is great.
It sounds ridiculous, but I'm constantly pinching myself and going like, I can't believe this.
I did a lot of comedy and I did political stuff, and that was all great. And then I just kind of slowed down and started talking about the river of tears that we all have to face, and eventually, and that we're all avoiding, and how at the other side there's, you know, that your body can survive it, but you can't, and you're better off without a you or an I. And I got into that pretty heavily, and they were looking at me like, this isn't what he's supposed to say.
Right.
You know, you're supposed to say, you know, we're important, and you're supposed to say it's all going to be all right, and you're supposed to say that, you know, whatever you dream can come true, and you're supposed to say all those things. I do believe in manifestation and power of that kind of stuff, but I don't believe that any of it matters. I believe that I had to become a famous, you know, idea.
Yeah.
And get all the stuff that people dream about, and accomplish a bunch of things that you know, that look like success, in order to give up my attachment to those things. It's been a part of the evolution of ego, is to spend your first half of your life acquiring and adding, thinking you can add to yourself, and it looks great. I mean, it looks great when you got a cool car and you got good, nice clothes, and you know, and you've done something that people admire. But it can never fulfill you. You can never be happy. You know what I mean? It's not where happiness comes from. And you know, I dealt with depression, you know, a few years ago, and people still think, well, he's going through. You can tell he's depressed, and it's not. I have no depression in my life whatsoever. Literally none. I have sadness and joy and elation and satisfaction and gratitude beyond belief, but all of it is weather, and it just spins around the planet. You know, it's not. It doesn't sit on me long enough to kill me.
Do you have a happy place besides here?
There's just
It's just
everywhere.
with us,
There's
right?
just everything. The happy place is realizing that you're everything, you know, and that there's no real you involved in the first place.
You know, visualization and
Right.
stuff, you know, and I years ago, it's an interesting story because I 4 years ago, I used to go up to Mulholland Drive and I used to say, I have this and that and this. Oh, it's all good and it's coming to me, you know, and I actually wrote myself a check, and this is for real. This is not a joke. This is for real. I wrote myself a check for $10 million per picture.
This is
by
it?
Thanksgiving 1995.
Wow, look
And
at that. This is the actual.
Don't wreck it.
No, I don't want to. This is certainly. Yeah, there you go. That's the actual.
That's
check?
the actual check I wrote myself 4 years ago, and that's so I'm kind of here to say that visualization does work, and of course now I've had to change my goals because I'm kind of getting close to that one.
You to move forward in life with enthusiastic hearts and a clear sense of wholeness. The question is, will that seed have a chance to take root? Because life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. On the other side of that door, there's a world starving for new ideas, new leadership. Now, fear is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.